Oh, here we go. Excellent. Oh, now that's a belter. That's been good old fizzy burger. Excellent. Well, that didn't take a great amount of time. Whew. That was one heck of a take. Did that ever go off? Oh, it's on a mission, this one. The margins. Oh, knit one, pull two. Here we go. Lovely stuff. Police, that one went off. It's funny how you have favourite little rigs, and my strange sense of humour, I suppose, but that one appeals to me. The good old fizzy burger. I can just imagine that sort of festering away on the bottom, all the little bubbles and particles coming off of that tablet, and the old carp, sort of their barbels pricking up and homing in on it. Excellent stuff. The only downside you get sometimes is with that ring in the side of the lead and a couple of tablets on there, I've actually had fish pick up the lead trying to eat the tablets, so just be aware of that. Make sure it's a proper take. It is a double. You can see the tablets still on the lead. They haven't completely dissolved. I don't know what's left of the bait. Let's just get me left. Lovely. Lovely scalings on it. Real old Humpty back jobs in here, and fast growers. You can probably see the tablet's actually completely melted on the bait, more or less gone on the lead. Worked a treat. Chunky fish. There, look, you can see virtually nothing left of that tablet, more or less dissolved. Now that's been out there, I guess, 25 minutes, half an hour, so it gives you an idea of the dissolve rate. And there was a couple of tablets on there. The one on the hook bait, cool, that wanted that, has completely melted, although probably the last bit got washed away. The great thing is, as you can probably see from that, although the tablet's gone, the boilies, whoops, keep still. The boilies come together, and you've still got a very presentable rig once that flavour's all dispersed out in the water and attracted the carp into it. So it's good for quite a few hours. Under normal circumstances, I'd probably cast every hour or so if I wasn't getting any takes, just to make sure you're putting fresh flavour in all the time. But yeah, great. Another stunning fish. What a chunky little fish. That's great. Well, I've really enjoyed this session. 3 beautiful fish, all doubles, one probably best part of 16 pound or so, and all taken on single hook baits, on rigs that really a lot of people don't use these days. And once you come into the sort of winter and when it gets harder, any time that you think that you don't want to put a rake of bait out there, or very short sessions, give it a go, because both the liquids and the fizzy tablets, magic.
Well, didn't Andy do well? And it just shows you what a bit of thought and flavour can do for your carp fishing. Talking of flavour, I can still smell that very nice meal that Og's cooking over there, which I'm going to have in a second. But before we do that, I want to take you to one of the other, or 3 other waters actually, part of the linear complex, which is the Guy Syndicate Lakes. The Guy Syndicate Lakes are made up of 3 waters: Gaunts, Unity and Yeomans. And we're going to pop across to Unity in a second and join Ian Poole. But before we go there, just another little thought about flavours and additives. You saw how successful Andy's method was. Do you put some thought into your own fishing when it comes to, say, using pellets, which our next angler, Ian Poole, is renowned for? In my own fishing with pellets over the years, I've certainly learnt a few little tactical tips that have helped me put more carp on the bank. And one of those, which is quite simple, is to mix the sizes. Carp can get very preoccupied on one size of pellet. If you mix the sizes up, to a degree, it just confuses them. Something else that you might want to try, as Andy proved, the use of a flavour or a soak on a bait can just make it stand out that little bit more than what you're putting down as feed, and perhaps draw the attention of carp to it. Another little dodge you might like to try is to actually soak some hook bait pellets. I mean, if you're fishing small pellets or mixed pellets, why not put a larger pellet over the top as the hook bait? Yeah, as Andy proved in his piece, flavours, they all add to the attraction of a bait, etc., and it's well worth a try, particularly when nothing else is happening around the lake. Just be that little bit different and you never know. Anyway, that's enough from me. Let's go across to Unity Lake on the Guys Complex, where Ian Poole, who is a master at pellet fishing, shows you some of his tricks and tactics.
I've come down for a 24-hour session on the Unity Lake on the Guys Syndicate Complex at Linear. There's 3 lakes down here, Yeomans, Unity and Gaunts. I think Unity is considered the runs water of the 3. Got a lot of fish in here, and probably it's most famous for the head of ghost carp. Managed to catch one last night, at 24. I'm going to show you how I caught it. I've had all my runs on a really sort of standard PVA bag setup. For those of you who don't know, basically a PVA bag just dissolves in water. It means you can put bait in it, cast it out. Once it's out on the bottom, it will dissolve and it leaves your hook bait surrounded with a patch of bait. I mean, there's no better presentation really. It just you can cast it into weed, into silt, and you know you've got perfect presentation every time. I use a really simple setup. Just 18 inches of tubing, a little flat inline lead, hook bait in this case is just a couple of little multiplex cylinders. This is an excellent sort of hook bait for where there's been a lot of pressure. I mean, you know, we all know how much pressure some of the waters get these days, and if they've seen a lot of PVA bags they can get a bit funny, but fishing a hook bait like this is different from a normal round boiling. It can really get you a lot of extra takes. It's dead easy how I set it up in the bag. I mean, the PVA bag mix is just some halibut pellets, some 2mm trout pellets, and some crushed up and whole 10mm multiplex boilies, just the frozen variety. It's just a bit different really than just fishing just a bag with, say, one size pellet in, where, say, the carp that have had a lot of pressure, have seen it all before, you know, are going to think, hang on, we've been caught on this, you know, we're not going to feed on it. But just breaking it up, putting 2 or 3 different ingredients in, sort of definitely gets you more takes. I mean, the way I set my bag up is just a little bit of bait in the bottom, and then with the hook bait, just put it down into the bottom corner. What I do is just put the hook through and bring the point out of the bag in the corner, like that. The next stage is really just to fill the bag up, sort of keep the lead in the fingers of my other hand, and the hook link, just as long as it's not straight, then it's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect, the hook link can go through anyway really. And just knock it down to keep